Bryan Balmer and Dan West wanted to pay cash for a vehicle, but when they sat down with a dealership hoping to make a deal, the joy of getting behind a new set of wheels quickly turned into disappointment.
Looking for an electric car, something with less mileage than this car.
Dan West and Bryan Balmer thought they had found a perfect replacement car. A used electric 2020 Volkswagen E-Golf similar to this one. After taking it for a test drive, they say they liked the vehicle and offered to pay cash for the car.
We had the money and it made no sense to finance something that we didn't have to finance.
But Dan and Bryan say the dealership had other intentions, and accepting a cash offer for the vehicle was off the table.
They wanted us to finance it or some portion of it, but there had to be something financed.
It was a move that didn't sit well with Dan and Bryan, especially since nowhere in the advertisement did it state cash offers were not accepted.
Bryan said to them, "So let me get this straight. We can't pay the ticket price and pay cash." And the guy said, "Yeah, no, we won't accept it."
It was enough for them to drive away from the deal. The nonprofit Automobile Protection Association, which advocates on behalf of consumers, says a dealership forcing a customer into financing is, in their view, deceitful.
It's actually amounts for the customer to a hidden charge that's not in the ad price. The customer is being asked to pay interest so that the dealer can collect a commission from the lender. That isn't right if the customer doesn't need the loan.
It's a tactic the APA says is all too common, largely due to current supply chain issues and the shortage of vehicles.
The car dealers, what we have seen with the shortages that followed, is that actually greed has taken over.
Meantime, the Vehicle Sales Authority, BC's car sales regulator, told Consumer Matters there is no legal requirement for a motor dealer or any BC merchant, as far as we can determine, to advertise that they do not accept cash payments. Subject to a specific law to the contrary, a motor dealer or any merchant may place terms, conditions, or restrictions on the sale of their goods or services. This includes how they are paid.
And from dealership.
Still, Bryan and Dan say how they were treated was wrong and continue to search for a new car.
It just didn't feel upfront. It felt shady. It felt deceitful.
So, advice to consumers who are faced with forced financing. The Automobile Protection Association recommends trying to negotiate a discount off the equivalent to the interest penalty you'll be paying for the vehicle if you do end up financing. The other option is to walk away like Bryan and Dan if the deal just doesn't feel right. Just to add, Dan and Bryan have since consulted with dealerships that don't force you into any financing, so that's left them with some hope going forward. And if you have a consumer issue for me, you can email me at consumermatters@globalnews.ca.